Hello, welcome to another episode of the Move with Momentum podcast. I am Bruce Breedlove. Jon Brooks is here with me. Jon, it is December 1st, the time of the year when people are making decisions about what they want next year to look like. The new year, new you mentality. It's been, it's a time to reflect on what has happened and what is to come in this crazy year that we've had in 2020. So I know you just got done doing this big analysis, this big study on specifically NEFAR data, Northeast Florida Realtor Association data. So let's just jump right into it. I want to hear the insights of what you've gained, what the knowledge you've gained from that.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody, Jon Brooks here, co-founder of Momentum Realty. And if you remember, Bruce, when we started Momentum, I made a really controversial post that was basically saying like, hey, if you're on a team at a big box brokerage and you're an average producer, you're getting your face ripped off, and there's no way you're going to outwork the financial model that you've put yourself in to succeed. Yes, there's always going to be that one agent that comes in and absolutely crushes it and sells like 40 homes their first year. But then even then, they're still netting around $100,000. And that's a lot of work for making that amount of money and working 24/7. So while some people might say, hey, that's great, when you break it down dollar per hour, it is not great. And you don't have health insurance and you have to pay your own self-employment taxes, right? So there's a lot of different factors to consider. And my background is I was a financial analyst. I was a tax policy analyst. I worked on Wall Street. Used to crunching data and running numbers. And I believe in data validity. And I believe that data tells the story, right? So there's a lot of brokerages out there that say, they have all these gimmicks. This helps, that helps, that helps. And they get you. Like we just had this conversation the other night. They're like, they get you on this hype or gimmick that they want you to believe in. And that's going to be the magic pill that they're going to solve for you. When in reality, there actually is no magic pill. It comes down to your relationship and your database. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because I made that post a while back. It was a big deal. A lot of people attacked as much as humanly possible because, again, you're basically blowing up their business model. And that's a good thing, right? Because we're shining a flashlight into someone else's business model. And maybe there's some like spiders crawling around. There's cobwebs and stuff. And maybe it's an old business model that used to work, or maybe it's a new business model that doesn't work, or maybe it's a business model that can be modified and improved upon. And that's what momentum is, because we're like, hey, this model doesn't work. Here's the new model that does work. We're going to give more back to the real estate agents to reinvest in their marketing and into their business and to their wealth building. No, we're not going to charge you more and then give you the money back by recruiting people. That's not what we're trying to do. And I know that's another gimmick that a bunch of other companies have, but then they have long vesting periods, or, it's tied to a stock price that goes up and down. So it's not truly sustainable wealth that's generated through cash flow, which, as everybody knows, that's the key to success. Your net worth can disappear overnight, but your cash flow will not. And cash flow is what makes you wealthy, not your net worth. So, a lot of things are conflicting in those messaging, and it doesn't really add up to us. So we've actually took it upon ourselves to do a giant market study on NEFAR, the NEFAR board. So what is NEFAR board? It's the Northeast Florida Association of Realtors. There's currently, and I got this directly from the person who runs membership, 7,670 active agents in the NEFAR board. Now, you might hear a lot of people refer to what's called like an affiliate member. Which would, or there's 10,000 agents in Jacksonville. What that means is that they have a primary board that's either the one in Fernandina or the one down in St. Augustine. Those are their primary board, but they want NEFAR access, right? Because there's not just one multiple listing service. So there are 10,000 agents, but for the case of this study, obviously we want to give you the scope. There's 7,670 agents that have paid their dues and are part of the board. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. There are 3,749 agents, which is 48.88% of the agents that do zero production. Zero production. All right, so we already know that 87% of agents don't renew their license over a 5-year period. So there's only 13% that do succeed. All right, so that's the 1%. Now the percentage from 0 to 1 million is 5.88%. The biggest group of people that is producing is 1 to 2 mil, which is 14.22% of agents, according to this study. And by the way, this study is me basically getting the broker metrics data and the MLS data, putting it together in a spreadsheet and breaking it down.
Just so everybody knows, when you say doing a study, you're simply pulling the data from the board that everybody is, because I know this is going to come up. You're pulling the data, you're putting it in a spreadsheet, and you're analyzing it. There's no insights. You're looking at the raw data and then making decisions from that. There's no massaging of the data is my point here.
So I did massage the data because in the future piece of information I'm going to bring out, we only really want to study the producing agents, because the non-producing agents, we want to cut them. But no, we did not break it down in any sort of special way. This is the true data. If you pulled the data on the same exact date, you should get the same exact result. So here's the thing. Most of the agents are in that bucket of 1 to 2 mil. And the majority of agents are at big box brokerages that, again, have those high splits. But if you're at 1 to 2 mil, let's say you have a $1.5 million producing year, you're almost capping, and that brokerage is taking 30 to 36% of your money. So you are broke. Like, that is the broke agent. Like, it's funny, there's Facebook pages out there that like the broke agent. Well, like, by the way, when you're in that kind of price range and you have those type of splits, moving to a more flat fee company or 100% model, you're going to save about $1,500 a month, which is mind boggling. Basically, you're going to save your entire mortgage payment by moving if you're in the $1 to $2 million volume range, and maybe you're producing like 6 to 8 units a year. Then you go all the way down the line. And so like where you're going to benefit the most is if you're a $2 million producer to a $6 million producer, you're still going to save about $1,000 a month. Again, that's equivalent to owning 3 investment properties that are cash flowing $333 a month. It's a huge amount of money. And by the way, that's not even including passing on that $250 fee for the transaction broker fee. That's assuming that that's all in-house. That's assuming that they're not charging you any additional junk fees, which would be like the E&O. There's a bunch of other issues. The other, whatever monthly fees they have at your brokerage, there's hundreds of different ones that they charge you. They even charged us one that had like, you had to pay to have your email, and they wanted another $26, and we looked it up and it cost $13. So they were making $13 a month off of having an email address, right? The agents aren't really breaking this down and doing the math. And so what we have found is if you're really going to make $100,000, and let's just look at my chart here, you're going to have to sell about $4.5 million. Well, the reality is in that bucket, there's only 10% of agents that are making over $100,000. And by the way, that's the gross income. Okay, that is not after the split and after your taxes. Okay, that's your gross income. So if you're making $100,000, then you actually, what that breaks down to is you're netting about $49,000 ish. If you consider that you're at a big box, maybe you're paying $21,000 to $25,000, and then you have 30% cost of sale, which is the cost of doing your business. You actually end up around $49,000. And then you have to pay tax on that. So so if you're one of those producers at a big box, this is why agents are broke. Okay, so like basically the chart and the analysis that we're doing is that you really need to break past the $4.5 million mark if you're at a big box to not be broke anymore, or like live on the average income for the area of Jacksonville. This is why we see agents not have the ability to go buy an investment property. Does that make sense?
Yeah. $49,000 pre-tax brings you $2,400 a month. You could go get a W-2 job and make that amount of money and have health insurance. Like, why even be an agent? That's exactly why 87% of agents get out of the business after 5 years. They're not making any money.
No, the person who's making money is the broker.
Yeah.
Because it's scalable to them. You're hanging your license there. And by the way, here's what the brokers try to do. They not only want your $21,000 to $25,000. Some of them are 16, but they have monthlies, whatever. It adds up to be around the $20,000 to $25,000 range for the brokerage. And then they want to sell you coaching. and all of a sudden they've doubled their income on you as a real estate agent versus providing that for free for the $21,000. So these guys are making a killing off of their agents. Meanwhile, they're agents who are, probably great agents. If you're a $4.5 million producer, you probably care about your customers. You're getting repeat referral business, but your profits are just not there. So every year you're working year after year after year, not making a whole lot of money. And that's a problem. That is a serious problem that most agents have. Now there's a very small portion of agents that make it past that. This is like the $6 million to $10 million agents. There's 5% of agents that do that. Now lumped in there are also teams, right? So it's actually probably going to be a little bit less than 5%, that if you're like a solo agent. Otherwise you got to split the volume two ways. And this assumes, right, that you're not really paying for an admin or a TC or any of these other expenses that you might have. So what this analysis says is that basically we're not surprised agents are broke. The brokerages are getting away with highway robbery. If you're a $2 million producer at a big box, you're getting your face ripped off. You're going into it. And if you can't double, or you can't find a way to double, or you don't want to do the work to double, then it's seriously a problem for you. And you're basically working to make your broker rich, which is cool if that's what you want to do. But I don't think most people get into the business to want to do that. So hold up. So Bruce, it goes further. So we broke this down into the top 16 brokerages in Northeast Florida. Momentum's going to be a top 10 in the first, pretty much the next 12 months. It's going to be a top 10 broker based on the volume that our agents are doing. We can actually break it out into units per agent, per brokerage. We can break it out into what their average sales price is. We can say, hey, the average agent at this brokerage makes this amount. The average agent at this brokerage makes this amount, right? Like you should know that data before going in. Here's what we found. There's no magic pill. There's no one brokerage that is going to give you technology, which, by the way, is like a hilarious conversation, because what is the technology supposed to do? A lot of agents want it to build the relationship for them, and then they can just automate it. Well, if that's the case, why is there a real estate agent in the first place? But what technology is supposed to be is a tool to speed up the tasks that you're already doing to allow you more time to go out and lead generate. The funny thing is everybody says they have this secret sauce, but all the agents at every single company are pretty much doing the same number of units per year, which is 14. So there's no, like when you look at it on average and you're looking at like the standard deviation between the different brokerages, they're doing about 14 units per agent. Some broker, and that includes brokerages that have standards, the brokerages that don't have any standards, all that kind of stuff. But this is only referring to the average of agents who are producing, right? So I already took out the agents who are not producing. If we brought in the agents that were not producing, right, the average would be 7 because it would bring down the average. So we took all those out. So it's 14 units per agent. The companies that are the biggest right now are the ones that have been around the longest. That's it. There's no other like real significant one. We can also track which companies have the most outflow of agents and the most that come in. And it's funny because a lot of the ones that have the biggest perks and the biggest gimmicks have the most people leaving, because they get in and then they realize, oh, there is no gimmick. So really the biggest thing is, if you're a real estate agent, you're looking for 3 things, in my opinion. You're looking, number one, for pretty low splits, not like $1,000 here versus $1,000 there is going to make a big difference, but an extra $1,500 a month can be a big significant difference. Number 2 is you want your broker to make your life easy. So when you call, they pick up the phone, which is going to save you time. Number 3 is they have to give you the tools and systems to be able to succeed in the scripts, which is ongoing training. But of course, you don't want a brokerage that's going to double charge you for that, and you have the cap. Do you see what I'm saying? So those would be the 3 things that I would be looking for if I was a real estate agent. The best thing that this study showed us, other than those type of topics, is that the only thing that matters, there's a couple of brokerages where the agents are making more money. They're not selling more units. I just want to be clear on this. They're not more productive in terms of units, but they end up making more money is because of their price point. So so your profitability is tied directly to your price point. And the agents who are the most profitable have the highest price point, There's two ways to increase your business next year. And this is me talking to you, agent, Mr. Agent or Miss Agent who's listening right now. You can either do more units or you can double your price point. How do you want to get to your goal of doubling your business next year? Those are the two ways: double your units, double your price point. Why would you not want to double your price point?
Same amount of work, make twice the money.
Right. Now you could argue, oh, well, certain price points have less amount of leads and less this, less that. And you could argue till you're blue in the face. The reality is what you focus on expands. So if you focus on that higher price point, it's no different. Actually, frankly, the harder deals are in the $100,000 price range, typically, because there's more issues going on. The easy ones are the price range between $350 and $750. You get into that price range, you're going to have the most success in your business. You're going to get referrals that are in that price range as well. I'm not saying don't service people well in every single price range. You do, but where you want to put your marketing dollars is into a price point that's going to get you the highest rate of return, right? Because you are a business owner. It makes sense for you to focus on that target price range, 350, 750 plus. That would be the advice that I would encourage. Unless you want to build systems and models for you to be able to double your units, which means that you might need to have a lifestyle conversation with your significant other. A lot of agents end up going through divorce because they're always attached to their phone and never in the present. If you're listening to this, we can help. We have a lot of strategies for that. But we really want to make sure that the agents understand that there is no secret sauce in this. It depends on how much money you're going to keep, which is the platform you get on, and then what tools and systems is the broker going to give you to get to the next level. And it doesn't mean that there's technology that's going to do it for you. Any sort of technology that one person figures out how to use, they're just going to license and sell it to somebody else, even if they did have it. And by the way, that's how it all works. So it's not a surprise to me that people fall for these gimmicks. It's just you really need to make sure, hey, before I join you, can you tell me how many agents have joined your brokerage and left your brokerage? Ask them what the retention ratio is. I think if you ask that question before you sign up, you'll get a ton of insights. They're like, hey, what are the common reasons why people leave your brokerage? That'd be a key question. What are the reasons why people join? Why is the reason people stay? And why do they leave?
A ton to unpack. Okay. Can I just hammer home the point that if you're a $1 to $2 million producer, by switching to a more effective cost structure, you're saving $1,500 a month.
So yeah, let me get you the exact. If you're a $2.5 million producer about there, you're saving $1,458 a month. If you're a 3.5 mil, you're saving $1,291. If you're 4.5, you're saving $1,125. If you're 5.5, it's $958 a month. Now that's like money in your checking account. So that could pay for all your vacations for the year. That could pay for a mortgage. That's basically 2 to 3 investment properties that, you could pick up over the next year or two. I mean, it's a significant amount of money, and that money is not going to you. It's going directly to your brokerage.
Yeah. So, instant value prop, $17,400 more in your bank account at the end of the year. Why would you not do that? And this goes back to the conversation that we find ourselves often having, especially last week on the podcast with Isaiah, is why are these people staying at brokerages where they're broke and they get no value and they're taking all their money? Why? I don't understand it.
Culture. They don't want to leave their friend group because it's more comfortable, Bruce. It's more comfortable to sit there and stay where you are than it is to reach out and say, you know what, this isn't working for me. This isn't the life I want to live. I want to do something more. I want to be able to provide more for my family. I want to have generational wealth conversations. And guess what? Most of the time, the agent doesn't even know that this is happening, because the only reason why Brittany and I know that this is happening is because we're investment bankers and we started our own brokerage, and we've been breaking down the financial model of every single brokerage, saying, how do we make Momentum the most attractive brokerage to the best people who provide the best service? And that's what we're looking to do. And so if you're in that, if you want to be one of the best and you want to provide the best service and you're between the 2 to 6 million, by the way, we've had agents who came in March and they were selling 2 to 3 per month. And now they're calling us and saying, I've got 25 pending. I need to help hire. And can you help me go find somebody? And we're like, yes, absolutely. We can definitely help you find somebody. And our financial model will allow for those people to join their team to stay longer because their team member is netting a lot more. versus us taking a lot more of that portion.
And so how do we shake that tree? How, and this is me asking you honestly, as the recruiter, as the brand ambassador, how do I help shake that tree and just knock people loose and say, listen, you want an extra $17,400? It's an instant value prop. Come to Momentum, come to a lower cost platform where you get more value than what you pay in. Like you said on the very first episode, that's winning. Like when we started this, we sat down and we thought, okay, well, we don't want to attract people based on money. We don't want money to be the reason why people join, because money will be the reason why people leave. And we want to partner with the right people. But like once you get somewhere where you're in business and you're making money and you can breathe and you can sleep at night because you can pay your bills and take care of your family and do what you want to do, your mind opens and then you can make a better decision for yourself and your business grows. Like, it's so mind-blowing to me that agents will stay where they're making no money. How do you live?
Bruce, okay, so like, let's back up. It's really easy to shed that judgment on somebody, if you're not in the business, right? Because look, we're all professionals here. We're working our butts off. We work 24/7 for our customers. We're in the weeds, right? So like, we cannot see the big picture here. So all they're doing is they're servicing clients, they're answering phone calls. They might not even ever have a financial statement. Most of the agents I meet don't have any sort of financials. Most of them are back, like they pay back on their back taxes. No judgment again, like we're helping our agents through that right now, to try to find the best strategies to get back out of that tax position and how much should you escrow out of every paycheck based on what your goal is for the year, right? So we need to have that conversation up front. No one at Momentum's going to have back taxes over the next year. We're going to focus on that. So like they don't know because they're not running their numbers. First off, you have to track it. Second off, after you track it, you have to analyze it. Then you have to focus on like, is my brokerage giving me enough value for what I'm paying them? And if the answer is no, is there another option that's available where I can save money and still be around like-minded people and grow? And so then you have to interview. Most agents don't interview. They just go to wherever their friend is and they make a lateral move from one brokerage that's charging them an arm and a leg to another brokerage that's charging them over arm and a leg because there's some new gimmick that came out. And so they're not even focusing on the financial conversation, which I don't understand because personally, I mean, look, I don't understand it because I'm a finance background. I'm like, of course, you want to go into a model where you're going to perform financially and successfully. They're not checking their numbers. So if you're like an agent coming in and you're like, I want to crush it and I want to make a lot of money this year, and you're like, I'm going to sell $2.5 million in volume. I'm going to go to a big box because my friend's there. That person's not going to run their numbers, Bruce. Like they're just not. They're going to have to live through that first year and then find out on the back end that they net $35,000, and they're just going to see that money pulled out of their first couple of paychecks. But then the culture of everybody being there that they know is going to keep them there. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing with COVID, because everyone's not in the office every single day anymore and everybody's working more virtually, that kind of stickiness factor of the culture of everybody being in person, and that's the reason why you stay somewhere, that's kind of taken off the shackles off these agents. And they're like, oh, maybe I don't need to do this. I can still be friends with that other agent at the big box and leave, right? Like maybe my association with the brand doesn't matter. It's not like if they're a true friend, they're going to stay with you as a true friend, regardless of where you're at. So the relationship should transcend the association with the brand big time. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, it's not a true relationship. Yeah. And you find out who your friends are when you leave a place. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah. I have that conversation quite often with agents who say like, I'm loyal to my broker. It's great. I love my broker. And my normal line for that is like, your broker is not paying your grocery bill. Loyalty doesn't pay the bills, and go where your business grows and you make more profit and you grow more. And normally when I say that on the phone, there's silence. And then they're like, actually, yeah, you're right. It's like, but and you're absolutely right. And we've talked about this and talked about this and talked about this, like go where you find the most value, and people just don't analyze their numbers. We have a whole episode around doing the math, how to do the math around, your association with your broker and your business. What do you want to leave this episode? What's the message here?
The average agent at Momentum, producing agent at Momentum, has revenue over $100,000. And we just opened the company. We just opened, and most of our agents started since May. And a lot of them didn't even have businesses before they came in. I mean, right? Like, we're taking people from teams that never had any production under their own name. That doesn't get counted into these numbers. Like, it's literally from where they started to today. And most of the agents came in after May. So like, our agents are doing great. Again, we have so many examples of an agent that came in, was a $3 to $4 million producer. We sit down, do a business plan with them, rank all of their systems. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think your system is? Oh, it's a 4. Okay, well, where's the 6? Where's the gap? Let's fill in that gap. Get into an accountability group like a success pod that Momentum facilitates. Get into a group that's going to keep you accountable to doing that goal. Come back in a month. Let's do another business planning session with you and get on this. But that's free, right? We're not charging $2,000 to $3,000 a month to have those business conversations with you. That's just what you get for being part of the tribe, and being a good customer service. Like, that's the reward. Provide good service. We're going to continue to help you as much as humanly possible so you can take over the market if that's what you choose to do. But again, I think if there's like one takeaway, is that your profit matters. You got into business to make a profit. And what that means is the first thing you should have a conversation about is, what business model do you want to put yourself into? Next year's a new year. It doesn't have to be the repeat of this year. I just had 2 conversations like, hey, this year for me was slow. I'm comfortable where I'm at in my brokerage. I need change. I need some accountability. They're teaching the same thing every single year at my brokerage for 18 years. Oh my gosh, if I hear it one more time, I'm gonna leave. Like, my cap just came off. I'm getting destroyed. I'm now unprofitable again. All of the issues that come through. Like, if you're having those type of problems, or you're losing your lifestyle, maybe you're a top producer and your lifestyle is going down the drain and you don't know how to use the systems, models, and tools to double your business and get more of your life back, which we have done and we can show you how to do. That's what I'd be thinking about. Like, I would just be really thinking about, do you want to live the same life you lived in 2020 and 2021? And if not, what are you going to change? And one of the things is getting into a new group that thinks differently. We don't want everybody to work 100 hours a week. That's not sustainable. If something's going to happen to your health, we want you to work in a way that is super efficient, that gives your customers exactly what they need and maximizes your profit. And we know how to do it. I think we're the most valid people in our market to do it. Maybe there's 1 or 2 other people that probably will end up joining Momentum. That will also be part of Momentum because they live by the same value system, which is good service, great profit, give back to the community.
I don't know a better way to leave it, man. I mean, that's honestly, I asked you earlier, how do you shake the tree? That's exactly how you shake the tree. Focusing on what matters.
Yeah, and the question that you asked, Bruce, was like, how do I get it out there to people? Just keep doing what we're doing. Get the message out. Let people know, like, hey, there's a different way to do this, and if you want to learn about it, we're here for you. It's not going to happen overnight. We shook the tree when we opened Momentum, and people ran around with their heads on fire and saying that we're liar, our brokerage is failing, this and that, right? And then we proved them wrong, and now we're top 10, and now we have validity, and people will see it by the results. And maybe you don't like me personally. I didn't like me 5 years ago either. I'm a new person. I've grown. You're not the same person that you were 5 years ago.
No.
But you'll definitely love Brittany, at least, right? And at least you'll be making more profit. So there's like a lot of things to consider. And you'll probably be giving more customer service because that's honestly what we care about. But the end of the day is, where is your business going to grow the most? Where are you going to grow the most? And where are you going to have epic adventure? Because Bruce, you just set up the Icemen hockey game before Christmas. We just went paintballing. We've been axe throwing this year. We like to work really hard, and then we like to play really hard. And I can tell you, I've had like 8 agents reach out to me in the last week. They're buying investment properties. The agents are saving the money from being at this brokerage, and we're helping them buy investment properties. They send me properties. I do an analysis with them. I tell them like, hey, it's still your choice, of course. But we want to run the numbers. We have all these spreadsheets that we use. That's our skill set to make sure that they're making a really informed decision when they pull the trigger on their property, and that they're going to have success long-term building wealth. And I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to partner with these agents along the way, because this year has been an incredible growth year, not only for us as the brokerage, but for our agents. Our success is through them, and for them to trust and bet on us coming out of nowhere this year is huge. And I know it means a lot to me and Brittany, and we'll continue to do whatever we can to support our agents to getting to the next level.
Yeah, I'm always humbled by the stories, the growth, and whenever I'm making posts and talking to the group, I make sure I thank them. Like, thank you for choosing us. Like, it means more, and this is a message to all of our agents. Like, it means more than you realize to have, our list of people that we text through every month and have a conversation with. It's so awesome. So let's leave it at that, Jon. We really need to do an episode on real estate investing. It's like a hot button issue right now. Everybody's talking about it. So let's put our 2 cents in. Let's do an episode on that soon. But for now, let's leave it at that. What an awesome episode. Another episode in the books. Thanks a lot, Jon, for spending some time with me.
Yeah, thank you.